All right, guys. All right. So I kind of just said it a minute ago, but I'll say it again. So as we know, everybody's kind of traveling still. I was fortunate enough to be home in time. So we wanted to hop on here, kind of hear some good takeaways, hear what's exciting for your team, see what you're going to do with the energy for your team moving into August and September. Maybe even celebrate some presidentials in here for a second, hear from those guys, and just kind of see what it is. So if anybody wants to come off mute first and just kind of share, like, what are you excited about? What are you going to do with that energy? What are you excited for your team? I know a lot of us have big teams out there, so it was kind of nice to see everybody. So I think, Annika, you said you wanted to go first.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Actually, you know what? No, I want to celebrate Amber and Guy first. We should totally celebrate them first, Justin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. So let's hear from you guys. Let's hear from you guys. What are you excited about at the last day of the month at a convention? And you guys went presidential. So let's talk about it.
It was nuts, I tell you.
Yeah, Annika, thank you for that. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, that is exciting, but I'll be honest, I'm feeling even more excited just about getting to see so many of you and talk with you face to face and connect, and just strengthening the relationships, because for all of us as leaders, leadership can be lonely, right? I was talking with Annika about this. When you're a person who has a strong work ethic and you care about people, there's a lot of people who are comfortable with the status quo. And so just getting to be with all of you and, have those connections was like the best part of convention for us, bar none. But yeah, we did not think that we were going to be presidential this month. And obviously we want to have that, abundance mindset, and our work ethic is strong, but we knew that it was in sight, but it was going to take some serious shifting in a couple of our coaches to get there. And we just decided, as we saw it getting closer and closer, that we were going to make it happen. And so we met with those coaches. We had a couple frank conversations, and
let me say, we were literally right after kind of the opening ceremony. We went to the food truck thing. And literally after just a little while, Amber looked at me and she's like, Guy, do we want to be here and have fun and be at the food truck? Or do you want to go home with me and let's dig in and let's look at our numbers and let's figure out what's going on? And I was like, you know what? This is fun, but let's go. So we literally went back to our hotel room and we had phone calls with a couple of our coaches that ironically were the ones who were on the West Coast that weren't there, and just lit a fire under a couple of these people. And by the next morning, it didn't look like it was going to happen. And so we both were a little bummed, and we were like, I don't know that we can make it in time. Like, I just don't think so. But we prayed about it.
We let it go.
Prayed about it.
Prayed about it. Did the work. We came
back about 6 hours later. We go back to all these messages, and it just started happening. It started exploding, and it was so crazy. And we're like, well, this might actually happen.
And then we
just dug in.
Wait a minute.
I think, unfortunately, I think Rachel and Tim aren't here, but they did the same thing. And so all four of us, we know that we were all back in our rooms, like, just decided to kill it and do exactly whatever we possibly could. Yeah. And it was amazing.
Yeah, we owe it to our team for sure. We're super thankful. We're excited that there's going to be a whole bunch more of you in our shoes very, very soon.
Yeah.
And it really is true. If you do the work and you care about people, you'll get there. And that's true of all of you. So we're excited about that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm excited for you. It's kind of a hard thing, right? Especially conventions never been at the end of the month. That was in fact, when I booked the Airbnb for us, for my team, I went autopilot and booked the wrong dates because I was just so used to the 24th. But no, it's exciting, man. It's that choice, one convention versus, moving your team forward, supporting people and loving on them. And that just shows like you can do anything if you put your mind to it, even at the end of the month. You know what I mean? Like days left. So really excited for you guys, man. Way to really put it in there and work with your teams. Well, hopefully the Richards can get on. Maybe they're traveling, maybe they're not. But Annika, do you want to kind of hop in? Like so guys, basically, I don't know if you heard me. What do what are you excited about? What's the energy you're going to use to work into August and September, obviously the rest of the year? And, maybe is there some exciting moments for your team this weekend? Kind of just share with us for those that weren't able to make it.
Yeah, I really want to echo what Amber was saying. We were talking at the top of the escalators about, kind of some of these things that connection is so important for us because it gives us perspective. And I think that was one of the biggest things that not only our team came away with, but me and Jeremiah ourselves, is the shift of perspective of what's possible. And that's what we really saw for so much of our coaching family and so many of you, through connecting authentically and sharing stories and coming together, especially after being away from each other for so long. It was this awakening of intrinsic motivation of what could possibly happen, and the disruption of I'm not enough, or I can't do this. If Tiffany Howard and all of her craziness can do this, like, it really shifted so many things. So it was really good to see so much of the transformational stories happen, because I think it shifted a lot of perspective for our coaches. And when that shifts for people, then they start to awaken and say, why am I any different? And so our teams have come back with fire. We have just gotten on with them again this morning. We've only had 2 hours of sleep since we came in at about 3:30 this morning with delays. But already they're talking to me about maps and strategies. They're talking about this new ED boot camp. We're going to be doing a 75 hard day group with all of our clients and coaches moving forward, starting on Monday, because as if we lead with our own health, then we can help other people. New lineups for our team trainings, just a lot of stuff going on right now, working hip to hip with our teams and incentivizing, a lot like the Leahs had been doing as well. But we're really excited for the energy and the shifts that have happened here and here through convention.
I love it, man. I love it. I actually just messaged, I know Diana, maybe she can't. She just hit her 3rd month FIBC, and this girl, I'll let her share, but she was literally in between lunches, breakfast, brunches, making phone calls, getting on calls, and totally hit 3rd month FIBC. So hopefully she can hop back on. I think her husband just picked her up from the airport. But anybody else want to come off, man? Just talk about the energy, the excitement, meeting with people. I think one of the funniest comments of the day was we all have legs and waists and feet, because most of us just see up here. But does anybody else want to kind of share some good takeaways?
I do. So I think a really big shift for me this year was wanting my team to really shift too, and kind of just getting out of my own leadership type role. And I said, you know what, I kind of don't want to be a leader. I kind of want to step back and allow these guys to be leaders and encourage them to lead their own teams that they brought for themselves. So the cool part is, and since we're all here together and on an upper level call, was really being able to see who decided to say, bring it on. I can't wait to be a leader and not have another person dictate everything I do with my people. And they went and they made their own, little lunch dates and with their own teams and had fun with them. And then you saw the other people who chose to feel abandoned and left out. And, so it really puts into perspective, I guess, where people really are. And so I know that was a huge challenge for my team this year. Of course, the brand new baby coaches that came in still gravitated toward me, but other than that, it's like game time for people right now. And even people that were here back home, I think I did a really good job at creating energy in my text or my chat group too, because then other people started, really following that lead and sharing some of the stuff on the screens. Then you saw the people back at home really get on fire too. We had probably 5 or 6 rank ups within our team this month. And one of them hit ED who wasn't even with us. So super, super, super excited to see what's going to happen from here.
Awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll share something.
Man of the stage. Good job, by the way, dude. Awesome job. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was very exciting. And honored to be able to do something like that. That was really, really cool. But one of the probably the biggest takeaways I got for myself was when they talked about what would the future IPD James do, and allowing that person to be your mentor. I think one lady talked about on stage how she took a picture of her like in a couch or something. And like every day she walked in her office and she looked at that, and that was her kind of her mentor. And that was something that I kind of decided that I'm going to do is allowing IPD James, you know, and going and leading from the future, acting in now. And what would y'all know what I'm trying to say, IPD James do every single day, and letting that lead all my actions from, you know, when I wake up to what time I wake up to, you know, my action steps. Am I going to, you know, reach out to these clients and coaches, or get on the TV, or whatever it is, and allowing that person to lead my everyday actions. So I think that was one of the biggest impacts and things for me. And then another thing I'm doing with our team is, I love how JC Dornick talked about the jacuzzi experience, how at convention, everyone, you know, we're all together and we have the community and we feel really, really good and everyone's inspired and motivated. But as soon as you step out of that jacuzzi, you know, it's cold and it's uncomfortable. And that's kind of when we get out of there, you know, we come home and it's back to the everyday grind, back to just everyday life. We kind of get out of that jacuzzi experience. So just knowing that, understanding that, going back to our team and our coaches and kind of helping them understand that, you know, now that you use that energy and that momentum to keep going. And, you know, remember all those feelings and emotions that you got at convention and those stories, to allow that to, you know, to keep pushing you on, you know, even, you know, let that momentum and energy keep going. So that's something I'm going to be doing with our team, and just kind of building that momentum. But not only for the people that were there in convention, but I made a point to also reach out to those that were virtually, because I know that we didn't want to forget about those because they weren't there in person with us, but connecting with them and finding out, you know, what were their takeaways and what are some of their goals and things moving forward. And even for the coaches that weren't on, even virtually, you know, letting them kind of experience and feel some of that positive energy. And so we can kind of get them into momentum also. So it was great. I know every convention, there's always that momentum and energy. And so now moving forward with the ED boot camp, and then we have a few things planned with our team that, you know, I'm excited what's going to come and the growth from this event.
Awesome, man. That's good stuff. And that's a true point, bro. Way great for leadership, because I didn't even think about the people that were virtual. So glad you shared that, man. Great reminder for sure, why we work better together. Well, cool, man. So anybody else who just hopped on, I'll go in a second, but anybody else who just hopped on, takeaways, what you're excited about for yourself, for your team, shifts, what you're going to do with the energy moving forward?
So I want to piggyback off of what James said, because that was actually my biggest takeaway as well, is, you know, we look to Jamil, we look at all these mentors in our life that we look to inspire us and kind of partner with us and go hip to hip, when in reality, you know, that idea of being our own mentor and it's helping us to level up to the next level of our own leadership ability. I mean, we have the skills, it's built within us, or we wouldn't be here. Right. So why are we not utilizing that energy that we have within ourselves to level up and to challenge ourselves to be better and to do the things that IPD James would be doing, or that IPD Steve would be doing? You know, there was so much emotion. I felt so much emotion in watching all the new IPDs walk stage. You know, and in the past, I would look at that and be like, man, wish that was me. No, that is me. That is me. I just haven't grown to that yet. But I have the ability. Like, all these people, they are all the same as you and I. And like, every single person walking across that stage is the same as you or I. So I'm really looking to level up by looking at myself and my own abilities and make those decisions and have my actions driven by my future self. I think that was a very powerful piece that I gained from convention.
I love that.
Can I share one other thing? Sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say, I love that.
As far as like what you're saying, Steve and James, about, you know, what's the future IPD Amber look like, please make sure you all really understand the comp plan. Because when I went to talk with Jamil about our goal, and that, you know, that we got presidential and we were all so happy, in the next breath, I said, okay, now here's our plan for getting to IPD. So it was like literally 1 minute we were like, oh yeah, this is so exciting. The next minute, the words out of my mouth were, here's my strategy for the next goal. And so in that moment, I told him and Amanda, I said, look, we want to be at integrated global by Thanksgiving. So that means I need to have 5 FIBCs. We've already got our 10, 11, 12 EDs. Now we need to have 5 FIBCs. So then I'll get my next 5, my 10 FIBCs by the end of spring, and we'll be IPD. And they're sitting there scratching their head going, Amber, you understand that global isn't 5 FIBCs. It's, if you have 10 EDs and 5 of them are FIBC, that's IPD. And so I was like, what you talking about, Willis? Like, are you serious? Like, I thought I had to do twice as much work to get to IPD than I thought. And so here's what you need to know. First of all, I'm a very happy girl right now because IPD is much closer than I thought it was. But secondly, you guys, it's closer than you think. And you can get there faster than you think. And I want to encourage you with that, because we didn't know, because when you do what we say we're all doing, it just multiplies. The momentum does a lot of the work for you. Does that make sense? So I hope that encourages you. You're going to get there faster than you realize if you keep doing what you're doing and keep running with that encouragement that you got from convention this week.
Well, I would definitely encourage you also to have that mindset too, of like, even just think that way, right? Have 10 FIBCs with 10 or 10 or 12 EDs, because we just don't know. But that's so awesome that you guys are that close, man. I mean, it's great. But I think everybody here is super excited for you too, man. And it's grinding out. I think I'll hop in real quick while we're waiting for other people to decide. I think one of the biggest things I learned, and it's so true, Amber, we were talking in the back, I walked off stage and I'm already on to what's the next step, right? And people are congratulating me and I'm over here just not even in that moment. I'm like already on to IPD myself. And so, but anyways, I think my biggest thing was, and even with a call this morning with a brand new coach, with her first client, who's her mom, is like, and maybe I already knew this, and it's not to have an ego, right? But we know what we know, and we're not here to play games anymore. I don't know if that was my biggest aha moment, but it's like, we know this system works. We know this business works. We know how to do this. We know how to grow EDs. We know how to go senior coach. We know how to go FIBC. We knew even how to go FIBL. It's not rocket science. You just stack a bunch of FIBCs, right? So for me, like this morning with this call with this girl, my mom, and I said, then tell your mom to send the program back. Next, like, right? So I think that's my biggest thing, is like, I know what I know. And the problem with even that situation is her fiance, baby daddy, is my old longtime friend since I know him since he was 5. So he's trying to sit here and tell me like what he thinks this program is. And I'm over it. So for me, I think my biggest shift is just knowing what I know and just really going and finding more of those people that are at that mindset of just listening and going. I mean, look at Josh and Michelle, just great listeners. Amber Guy, great listeners. All you guys are on here being successful because we're just great listeners. We know that if we just follow the next person that's been successful, it'll work. So I think that was me, is just not to have an ego or an attitude with people, but it's like, man, do you want to do this? This is how you do it. If not, later. And I think even though I say that on these calls, I think that's just really sinking in with me personally. So I don't know if that makes sense. And then just to see my team grow, I'm really excited for everybody to see different organizations have their own tables and their own things, and watching Josh and Michelle come across stage. It's like a little daddy moment, even though I'm not their dad, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just exciting to see people be successful, moving across state. They're having a baby. They got to buy, her dream car. Just, it's really surreal, man, to be able to see that coming back from just thinking you're going to help some people maybe lose some weight at the very beginning. So that was kind of my thing. Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, I was just going to add to kind of what you're saying. If Josh and Michelle had actually done that with me, then we might not be here today. If they just were like, oh, you have questions and you don't believe in our thing yet? Because I did. I questioned Jamil big time. I questioned you. I questioned Josh. But everybody's in a different place in their business. So where you are, where it might not affect your business, someone grasping for FIBC and grinding out, and they need that order. We got to remember those people too, because they aren't in a place of where they can go, well, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for games. you know, it wasn't that long ago that we were just scraping and grinding. So there's context in all of that. Yeah, I know you're in a different place, and I'm still grinding in the sense where I may work a little bit harder with some people to see what could happen, to see if I can break through what I had the misconceptions of this business, right? They're still there, man. They're still there. I mean, Eric Boyette, I mean, he had misconceptions of this business. Look what happened, right? IP or integrated national director. Like, you just never know who you can reach. It's just how much time do you want to put into it, and you got to allocate that time. So anyway, I just wanted to add that.
No, and it's so true. And you know me, I'm kind of blunt. So I guess the way I said it, it sounded a little, that's why I put the disclaimer in there with the no ego. It's true, man. You got to work with certain people. I mean, if Jamil hadn't to take the time to dumb it down for me, to send me a message at 11 o'clock at night, don't send out emails this way. You can't do that. Don't do this, you know, do this and that, for sure. I totally feel you on that. So thank you for bringing that in there. And by the way, where is Eric? Get off, man. Come on. Don't be sitting there with your hat staring at us. You got to say something, dude. Integrated National, come on, man.
Oh man, I mean, takeaways for me was just the stories. I mean, it always boils down to the stories and seeing the obstacles that so many people have gone through and overcome and just built amazing businesses. Just always brings it back into focus for me. Like, you know, what's your excuse? So, and of course, being around the community and just understanding that that's our job, is how do we create this community and belonging across our organization, away from convention, and help people to feel like they're part of the mission. I mean, and I probably every year with convention, I mean, my favorite part is just getting plugged into the mission again and hearing from Dr. A and really understanding how important it is at the human level, what we do and what we're trying to accomplish. Another thing I wanted to add real quick, and hopefully she's still on, I can't see the whole gallery right here, but we also have a new FIBC in the house, Erica Reister, who is just hit FIBC, and we're just so proud to welcome her into this group. And she came to her first convention, and she's on fire and helping so many people and growing an amazing business. So welcome, Erica, and congratulations.
All
All right.
real quick.
I'll-
Go ahead, Micah.
Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, one of the things I was just thinking is that Cody actually said to me, like when we were about to do that little stage walk thing, he's like, enjoy this moment, because I'm already thinking like, oh my gosh, what's next? What do we do next? Like I love this. This is incredible. This is amazing, but there is so much more. And so he stopped me and he was just like, enjoy this moment, you know, like be grateful, appreciative that you're here, and let's enjoy it for right now. And then we'll get into work, you know, into action. But one of the things that was super cool is that we brought a few of our coaches and we stayed in a house together. And I love that. I feel like it can be a little bit exhausting, but it was also really good. Like the conversations that we had were really good. We worked on a lot of mindset things. And one of the things that was amazing was to hear them say that they felt like IPD was more attainable because of how normal those leaders are. Now, they're extraordinary because of what they've accomplished, because you don't just get there because you don't, you know, you're just happen to get there. Like you put the work in, but their stories were so different. You know, you had different age ranges, you had different backgrounds, you had different trials. They saw such a variety that it wasn't like a cookie cutter, you have to look this way, be this way, or do this. There was so much variety there that it encouraged them that they could actually have what it takes to get to that goal. And I thought that it opened them up and it awakened them to say, wow, I actually can do this. Not just because, you know, in a mastermind group, I'm going to throw it out there because that's what I'm supposed to do, but that I can actually do it. And here's the cool thing too, is as a leader, when you're the leader of a team and your team starts repeating the vision back to you, that they get it. And they're like, next year, when it's coming from them, and they're like, next year, let's do this. Next year, let's plan this. Next year, let's talk about, you know, bringing more people. When they start to catch that vision, oh my gosh, it's like, it's so life-giving as a leader. And I felt that a lot this last week, where I'm like, oh my gosh, they're saying what I've been saying for like the last year, like they're repeating it back to me. And I was like, yes, finally. So that was really cool. But yeah, it was a great time. We had fun.
Yeah, Justin, may I speak up for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. And then we got to get Brian and Julie. They've been waiting patiently, but yeah, go for
Oh,
it.
I'll be quick. I'll be quick. No, I mean, I can just echo what everyone is saying. You know, my first convention was 4 years ago and I went by myself, obviously, and with Justin. And Justin was like, you know, don't come near me, go around and meet people and, don't follow me. And that was like the best advice, because I think what happens is when you go together, and this time I was honored to have a lot of our team members together, they kind of stay together, right? And like Des says, like, it's good to kind of break off and encourage them to maybe sit with other people. And so I saw that happening, kind of seeing who was kind of leading the pack. And we had some, obviously because of COVID, I got to meet a lot of people I've never met in person before. And that is magical, to be able to hug and see them and watch them, and to be able to be at convention and see the connection that they see when a speaker speaks to them. That is so beautiful. So, I remember Justin saying, like, years ago, the magic happens like after convention, in a hallway, late night in the hotel room. And that happened to us, and I sat back. That was what was great. And each one was kind of stepping into that leadership role. And we're in a hotel room, all of us crammed in at 3 a.m, talking about what is your dream. And I didn't even start that conversation, and the popcorn takeaways. So for me, it's really fun, as, I've been doing, coaching for 4 years, to kind of sit back and watch them lead. And we talked a lot about trust and building trust. And that means even when you're at convention, you're still touching your business. And even though you're having fun, and sometimes it does feel like a little bit of vacation in the morning, you do want to post. And we were much more, I was much better at really including the people that weren't there, and really posting a lot in our ATM group. I mean, I talked a lot about Dr. A in our ATM group, and also in our client support group, because we know that a lot of those clients will move into coaching. So I felt like I was much more intentional on how I was leading, within our organization. But it was really fun to watch everyone kind of when those light bulbs go off, and we're already talking about, okay, next year, who's going? We have a lot of people that weren't there that are talking about who's going next year. And we just want to keep that momentum up. And so it was really fun, really fun.
Awesome. Well, cool. We're up, but we'll have Brian and Julie close us out. Such good takeaways, guys. This is awesome to hear.
Yeah, just real quick. You're asking for our takeaways. I was going to share.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Joy did not feel like a vacation to me. If that's your vacations, call me. I'll help you. I'll hook you up with some relaxation. It was our first convention. It was good. I mean, it was so good, but it was, just a lot of scheduling and everything else with the groups and all of that, but the excitement still came through. I think the whole point of it was to get us all fired up. I loved hearing about the state of the company and some of that. If I don't think we get to vote, but if I did, I would vote that Dan Bell gets at least 3 times to talk. Like the convention started for me when he got up on stage. It was really good. But out of all the notes that we took, one made the front of my little book, and it's if you need them, you cannot lead them. And I think that ties back into what Justin and Eric was saying, kind of puts put two together. We're not abandoning people, but we're at the same time, we can't rely on. I've heard it said several times, and it kept ringing in my ears. Justin, I think you're the one that said it on one of these calls, or maybe one of the trainings, that the people that you're going IPD with probably aren't even on your team right now. And I really kind of, that all tied together, that along with some books I've been reading and everything about spending 80% of your time on 20% of your team. And so it really all kind of tied together there for me. And you see that. That's it. That was my big takeaway. If you need them, you can't lead them. If you're stressed out about that order, you're going to have a hard time being a leader, because you're going to be chasing that rank or chasing that one order.
And my main 2 things one of them ties into that, where they were talking about, okay, well, you want to get your mom and your sister and your brother healthy, but they're not ready yet. So go help for new coaches. I have a couple of new coaches, and or people that are considering coaching, and their main thing is, I want to help these people, and they have a very short list, and those people aren't ready yet. And just telling them, but you can coach along the way, and those people will come later because they're going to watch you. And just encouraging them to jump in, whether their mom joins or not. Because, we've seen it with our family. We have a good example of that. It took them a long time to jump on board. And the other piece, which I've been dealing with personally, is what is the lie that you are telling yourself, and confronting it, speaking it, and then speaking the truth. And I think that that's really important for people to, myself, for me to confront those things and switch the script, but also to encourage, when we see a coach get stuck, to just help them confront whatever lie they're believing, and not only confront it, but to say it and speak the truth over it. And so those were my two main things. And yes, we're glad to be home, and I think I might sleep for a week now.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one. Sleep is definitely something in the forefront, but no, I'm excited, man. Well, I'll close this out with this. I think the last thing I'm going to do, like James said, is even going back to those virtual people, is utilizing this as a teachable moment. I had so many coaches talk about the map, and I'm sorry I wasn't scheduling, or this or that. And obviously wink at me if you ever had somebody not do a map with you. I don't know if you guys get that or not. Maybe it's just me. But I've had so many people want to schedule maps now because they are at home. They are seeing the fire. They are seeing people walk stage. They know things are happening. So I'll just close this out with this, man. August should be a good month. September should be a good month. Let's roll this thing out. There's a little birdie out there saying that we may have an event in Arizona as a company, that smaller event that they had a couple of years ago. Don't hold me to that, but just be kind of prepared mid-November-ish. We had it at that church a couple of years ago. It was ED and above. I think they're still trying to figure stuff out. But other than that, I'm excited, man. Let's rock this. I know some of us will see you in, or hopefully all of you will see you guys in Florida here in a short month away or so. But yeah, man, we'll see you guys next Monday. I'll post the playback in a little bit once this thing downloads. And thanks for being on, and thanks for being you guys. I always learn from you guys as well. So I appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good Monday.